Hey guys, welcome back. Another episode of Memory Lane Motorworks. Today we're gonna pick up where we left off on the 72 Corvette. You guys noticed in the first video we have skid marks coming into the garage. The right rear tire is locked up on it. So I'm gonna make that first order of business. Let's get that jacked up and see what's going on with it. We'll go from there. After that, I think we'll check under the hood, maybe put some gas in this thing, hook a battery to it, and see if it's going to fire up for me or not. So stay tuned. Oh. All right, well, this is a disc brake, four-wheel disc brake car. And I initially thought the disc brake was froze up on it. But if that were the case, would not be able to rock the wheel at all. So there is one of two things going on. I'm really hoping it's the first one. The emergency brake on these cars is a interior style drum setup, and I'm really hoping that the shoes for that emergency brake are froze to the rotor. That's not the case. I have differential issues going on, but that's highly unlikely. This car didn't have anything like that going on when it was parked. So we're going to go with the fact that those shoes are probably froze to the rotor in there. But first step is let's get the tire off and see what we can see from there. Wheel spacers. Wow. Yeah, caliper's definitely free. That is not the issue at all. So there are some access holes here. Well, at least one. I think what I'm going to try to do, squirt some blaster, whatever I can find in there, see if maybe we can free it up that way. Maybe it just needs a little motivation to free up a little bit. Ha! I win. Now, see if we can get that access hole up here. Maybe. Or not. Gonna say so we could get some more lubrication in there. Well, we'll work with what we got for now. All right. Well, guys, I think once we get the car moving under its own power, that's probably going to free up just fine on its own. Once we add a little engine power to it, something a little more than what I can do with a screwdriver here. So I feel good enough about this now. It's nothing diff related. It's definitely this drum brake hanging up on here. I'm good with putting the tire back on it, and we can move on with other things. I'm going to get that buttoned up, and we'll go to the next step. Well, we got a 350 small block Chevy here. I think first step is to make sure this engine is still freed up. Want to make sure we get good rotation on it. No sticky spots. Initially, just make sure it breaks free at first. That way, when we go to hit it with a starter, we don't cause any issues or anything like that. So, given the hood opening this way on this car and not a lot of room to get in here and hand crank on anything, I think what we're going to do is put a socket and ratchet right onto the crank and see if we can get this thing to rotate over a little bit. That'll tell us what we need to do next. All right. Are you free? Oh, yep. There she goes. All right. We do that again? Oh, yeah. Good deal. All right. One more. She's spinning nice. Awesome. Good to see. Okay. So now that we know that, I think the next step, let's get this air cleaner off. Make sure we don't have any wild animals living under the hood. Oof. Looks a little rough. That's plenty good. No, that needs a new one. We're not there yet. All right, let's see. Get this off here. Crank vent off of there. Got some signs of some mouse droppings, stuff like that before we go messing with the carburetor, dropping that right down into the engine. I'm going to give my best shot to get that cleaned up before we go any further. Oh, right in the eye. That was sweet. Good job, you dummy. All right. Brake fluid stings real nice. Okay. Oh, we got our butterflies cleaned up. Let's see if this carburetor's still freed up or not. right, we got accelerator pump action. Well, the linkage anyways. All right. Well, it's free. That's good. Let's take a look down there real quick, see what we got going on. Not too bad. Okay, that works. I think the next step here is, let's see if we got any oil in this or not. Right at full. Smells a little gassy. I think we'll be okay for getting it going. Perfect. Okay, well, I think the next step is to find a battery for this thing, hook it up, make sure we don't have any electrical smoke fires going on, and crank this thing over and see if it's going to turn over freely or not. Then after that, we can put some gas to it after we check for spark. And if we have all those things, we should have a running engine, so to speak. So let's get a battery, get it hooked up, and go from there. Yeah, so the battery for this car is conveniently located behind the back seat. So a large frame guy such as myself, this should be super easy to get in here and put a battery in it. All right. The battery I was able to find for the car is marked 2010, so I'm sure it's going to work just fine. Nope. Okay. Now the next step, after putting juice to a car that's been sitting for a long time, is to kind of take a step back, look, smell, open up your senses. What we're looking for is smoke. What we're smelling for is electrical. Excuse me. You never know where mice have been, what they've chewed on, and what they could have crossed. Hot wires grounding out, everything of the sort. So, don't see anything. Don't smell anything. So, I think we're good to proceed here. I think, however, before I hit a key, I want to hook up a spark tester somewhere. Therefore, we can kill two birds with one stone. One, we can see it's going to turn over, and two, we can see if it's got spark or not. If we got both of those things, we'll be sitting pretty good. Of course, while doing this, pick the one that's most difficult to get to. Okay. All right. We got juice. We're in neutral. That'll work for now. Let's see if it cranks over. We have clickage. Okay. Let's double check our battery connections. We got one click, and that's all she wrote. Okay. All right. I think our battery's seen better days. Every time I turn the key to the start position, all I hear is bubbling coming out of the battery. So I think that'd be a good place to start. Maybe our 23-year-old battery isn't as good as it once was. So let me do some testing on that. Maybe I can find another one back there somewhere, and we'll go from there. Well, both those batteries turned out being junk, so just got back from the parts store with a brand new 6 of 23 battery. If that doesn't do it, I don't know what will. Okay, let's try that again. We have crankage. Perfect. All right. Let's see if we have spark or not. I didn't see any. See if we can get a closer look. Okay, guys, so the leading cause of no spark in an older engine would be the points. Leading cause of points not working, I would have to say, is moisture buildup on the points, whatnot. The points are located underneath your distributor cap, underneath the rotor button, which would be here on this engine, held in by a couple Phillips head screws. So first thing we'll do, we'll confirm I got the ignition key off, which it is. Next thing we'll do will be take the two Phillips head screws out And look at the points. All right. Next, we're going to need a flathead screwdriver to take the rotor button off. You always want to inspect these contact points too. See how they look. It'll be right here, and there will be 8 of them going around the inside of the distributor cap. These don't look too bad. Probably hit them with a wire brush real quick just to say I did. But yeah, there's a little bit on the contact points on the distributor cap. Other than that though, it's looking pretty good. Let's check out the points next. Looks like these have been replaced once upon a time. I must have done it somewhere down the road. So they look newer. Haven't been able to get a good eye on the actual contact patch yet. We'll get my light out. Come over here. Yeah, there's a little buildup on them. Might be the whole problem right there. I'm gonna get these filed up and I'll be back. And we're back. I had to step away for a while, do some life things. Where were we at here? Checking spark, that's right. I got spark tester hooked back up. We got our points cleaned, checked our coil, cleaned the rotor button, the tabs on the cap. That should be good to go. We'll check spark here in a second. The other thing I did, I unhooked the fuel line off of the carburetor. That's going to do 2 things, 3 things actually. First off, it's going to tell us if our fuel pump's working. If so, it's going to pump fuel in that bottle. Second off, it's going to tell us what kind of fuel's in the fuel tank there. And third off, if that fuel is bad, we're not going to be pumping a bunch of junk into our potentially good carburetor here. So we don't need to rebuild it again. So we got that hooked up. I'm about ready to hit the key here, and we will see what happens. Oh. All right, well, We got Spark. She wants to run. That's awesome. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to unhook this tester, plug the wire back into the distributor. Fuel pump's working. We got some age-looking gas coming out of the tank. Ooh, well, I've smelled worse, that's for sure. The car might run on that. Most important thing here is, guys, there's not a lot of sediment or junk coming out of there. So that's telling me we might be okay to plug that back in and not have any issues there. So I'm going to do some configuring here. We'll be back in a few. All right, guys, got my configuring done. Now we know this thing's going to run. What I think I'm going to do, I'm going to fill the float bowl full of some gasoline, and that'll allow it to run for a little while. The carb's working properly, everything's working okay. This thing should fire up and idle, hopefully, for a little while, and we can start getting an idea of what else we need to do here. So that'll be the next step. Let's get this float bowl filled up, and we'll go from there. Okay. All right. Think we might have some leaks already. I'm gonna fire it up anyways. Let's just see what happens, and we'll go from there. All right, guys, that was a good first run. Not exactly one to idle yet. That's okay. It's been sitting for a long time. Think I'm gonna fire it back up and see if we can get it to take fuel from the tank, and maybe it'll sit here and run a little longer. Let's find out. Okay, not 100% sure it's taking fuel from the tank yet. Might just still be drinking off of what was in the bowl, what we poured in there. Let me do a leak check underneath first, make sure we don't have anything crazy going on, and then we'll try this again. Alright guys, I think it's finally pulling from the tank, and it's attempting to idle. Looks like we might need a little adjusting there. Might be a few vacuum leaks, who knows what's going on. Check that out. It's running, but it's running rough. Oof. I think I'm going to adjust that idle up just a little bit. It's not the root of the problem, I'm guessing, but that'll help us in the time being here. There we go, that's a little better. Not great, but better. We'll run with that for now. Check the transmission fluid while it's running. Alright, she is low. It's on the stick. Should be enough to move it. Let's see if we have any transmission next. Well, what we don't have is brakes. That's for darn sure. But let's try this out here. Alright. No reverse. No drive. Okay. Well, that fluid was low. Let's put a little in it. See what that does for it. I think it's running on at least 6 or 7, which is really good for as long as it's been sitting. Apparently I need to go on a fluid run. We can see if that does anything for it or not. Oh, she wants to. Oh. Yeah, she's just low. Alright. Well, instead of burning a pump up and stuff, let's find some fluid and go from there. Okay, well, found some transmission fluid. I think we're going to try to move the car over onto the lift. Got no brakes. We'll see how this works. Should be fun. Are they trying to come up? Trying to? Oh, that's all right. Oh, there we go. I think those are vacuum operated, kind of like the wiper cowl. Oh well. We don't need headlights where we're going. You want to kind of shut that one? If it will. Uh-oh. Alright. Now I did it. Alright, here goes. Got power steering. That's exciting. Small one. Just a little exhaust leak. Oh. Well, how do you get the key out of the thing? Put it in park first, dummy. That's what you do. Alright, that works. Actually, we'll leave that on neutral. Alright, success. Well, that's going to do it for that video, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. We completed what we set out to do. Got the car started. Got it moved onto the lift. After I cut the video, I put the car up in the air and took the wheels off. Did some checking and stuff. I put a parts list together so I could get some stuff on order. Got some brake work and some other things to do. There'll be another video on the car of me doing that work, and maybe, just maybe, at the end of that video we'll be able to take it down the road. That would be exciting. That would be a great goal, and I can't wait to do that. Thanks so much again, guys, for tuning in and supporting me, and I appreciate everything, feedback I'm getting on the channel. It's really helped me out. If you wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button, maybe checking out some of my other videos, that would be amazing. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.